Yeah, hi, my name is Andy Chrysostom and I'm a Reiki Master Teacher, and I'm going to talk about why I learned Reiki and why Reiki means so much to me. Okay, so I think I need to start with some background. Before I learned Reiki, I used to be very keen on training. I used to train every day. I used to do martial arts and weight training, and at the time my martial arts were Wing Chun and Mugendo, which is a form of kickboxing, and I trained every day, including Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and I loved it. It was my passion in my life at the time. And then one day I was at the gym and I picked up a dumbbell in my left hand, and it kind of fell out of my hand, which was quite strange because I never had that before. So I tried again and then kind of picked it up from the floor, and my fingers just kind of opened and the weight fell out. And I tried picking up a lighter dumbbell, and the same thing happened again. So I stupidly, I think, tried to carry on training, and I kind of tried to do exercises where I wasn't gripping with my left hand, such as bench press, which was laying down, and I put the bar onto my palm, so I only have to use my fingers, and I tried to push the weight up, and my right arm pushed as normal, my left arm kind of just stayed there. And I was thinking, but I'm trying to move my left arm, and it just wouldn't move. And it was a very strange feeling, because in my head, I'm moving my arm. In reality, it's not going anywhere. So I kind of stopped and went home, and I made an appointment to my GP, and I explained what the problem was. He sent me to the hospital for X-rays, and then I went back to see him, I think, about a week and a half later. For the results, and this is something which I can't sort of forget. And I was sat in the chair waiting for him to give the results. And he got the envelope out with the X-rays and then pulled them out. And he said to me, "I can't believe how bad it is in someone as young as you. You're going to be crippled, and there's nothing we can do for you." Which took a second to sink in. And then I kind of realised what he said. I said, "Well, Jim isn't going to be crippled." And he kind of explained that I have severe spondylosis of the spine. The vertebrae, the discs have worn away, and the condition is degenerative. And as the disc vertebrae wear away, the nerves will become more and more compressed, and eventually I won't be able to use my arms, my legs. So it was kind of a shock, to be honest. And he gave me suggestions on how to manage the problem. Like avoid carrying anything, don't walk for long distances, and try to minimise the stress you put on your spine at all times, and take painkillers every day to manage the pain. And I wasn't too keen on taking painkillers, anti-inflammatories every day, because you hear about the side effects, and I didn't want to damage myself, really. So I tried to avoid taking the painkillers unless it was unbearable, which some days it was. Most of the time it was just a pain that kept me awake at nights, and it just made my normal daily life very difficult. So obviously I gave up training and tried to work my life around the problem. And then I think it was about 2.5 years later, one of my friends suggested that we do a Reiki course, and he suggested it might help my spine. And my attitude was, no, it won't. I've been told by the consultant how serious it is, and there's no way anything can help me. So, that was that really. But somehow, he persuaded me to take the course, which I did. And on the way home from the course, after I finished, it was the most bizarre feeling. I was standing up on the train on the way home, and I kind of realised that I wasn't in pain. It was incredible. The pain had gone. I didn't even realise it had gone. And I kind of came home and went to bed and slept properly without pain for the whole night, and it was an amazing feeling to go to sleep again. So I thought, wow, this is pretty good. And so I started to use Reiki to treat myself every day. And being a very methodical person, I kind of structured it into my day. So on the train from home to work, I did Reiki. At lunchtimes, I would do half my lunch doing Reiki, and on the way home on the train, I would do Reiki again. and in the evenings I'll do Reiki all evening, and I repeated it every day, and I kind of made Reiki like my new passion, really. And it was amazing. The more I did it, the more mobility I got back, and the more I could do with my life. And after a little while, I decided to try training again. Obviously, I didn't go into full-on hard intensive training straight away. I just did some really light workouts to see how my spine would react. And it seemed to be okay. So I made the training progressively more and more challenging, and to see how far I could go before I started to experience pain again. And I managed to be able to do weight training, which is great. And then I started working on the punch bag, and I used to do punches and kicks on the punch bag, and that seemed to be okay. So I then decided to try martial arts again. And this time I opted for a martial art called Krav Maga, which I actually love doing. And now I train 7 days a week. I do Krav Maga, and I do weight training, and I work out on my punch bag as well. And I can do it now, and as long as I'm careful with what I do, I can train every day. And that's absolutely amazing. Considering how bad it was before I did Reiki, to be able to actually train 7 days a week again intensively is amazing. And it's really changed my life. So from that aspect, Reiki means the world to me. It's allowed me to start training again and to continue training, which is something I never thought I'd be able to do. The run-of-the-mill stuff like walking, carrying, shopping, and living on life, I can do again. It's great, I can do that. So Reiki really changed my life in that respect. The other way Reiki changed my life is with what I do for a living. I used to enjoy my job, and I actually really liked it, but then I was doing Reiki part-time, evenings and weekends, and then I kind of decided to make Reiki my living because I loved Reiki and I wanted to share it with as many people as possible. So I teach Reiki now, and I offer Reiki treatments to people. So my life has been transformed really from being on a path to being disabled to being able to train and to do something that I love for a living. So that's where I am now, and that's why Reiki is so important to me.